So let's begin. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, so as we had, I think this is the third session that we are doing on the introduction. So we've already had 2 sessions. And if you remember in the first session that we said, is that it is very important that before we start reading the Bhagavad Gita, we should be praying our obeisances to the spiritual masters. So we said that there were the introductory prayers in the introduction. Can everyone read them with me? Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantika Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaisnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Tanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Ever together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay. So where did we stop? So we stopped where Arjuna had described or how he accepted Krishna, and the way he accepted Krishna, the place he accepted it is in the 10th chapter, verse number 12 to 14. He called Krishna as, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Ashita, Devala and Vyasa confirmed this truth about you. and now you yourself are declaring it to me. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. Okay? After hearing Bhagavad Gita from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Arjuna accepted Krishna as Param Brahman, the Supreme Brahman. Every living being is Brahman. The Supreme living being or the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a Supreme Brahman. Param Dhamma means that he is a supreme rest or abode of everything. Pavitram means that he is pure, untainted by material contamination. Purusham means that he is a supreme enjoyer. Shashvatam, eternal. Divyam, transcendental. Adidevam, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ajam, the unborn. And Vibhum, the greatest. Okay, so let us try to understand at least this much of the chapter. So Arjuna is describing who God is and what are his qualities. So all of us are conscious. Is there anyone here who doubts that he is alive or not? No. Everyone at the very basic knows that he is alive. That means he is conscious. What's the difference between me and the table? We are both made of matter. But this one, it will not respond to anything. But if somebody pinches, you'll feel it. You'll feel the pain. You'll feel some sort of sensation. So that is what differentiates a soul with matter. Okay? Now, the soul is also known as Brahman. As it is said in the Vedanta Sutra, the first sutra, it is Atato Brahma Jignasa. Yeah? Or what is it? Asmi Brahmasi. Aham Brahmasmi. That I am spirit. Yes? That is what that sutra is saying. So, Krishna is also conscious. He is the source of everything. If we are conscious, then we are getting our source of consciousness from whom? From the Supreme Brahman. So, there is Brahman, which is a Jiva, but then there is the Supreme among all the Brahmans, which is known as Krishna. So, there is always going to be that distinction. In the Katha Upanishad, it is said, Nitya Nityanam Chetana Chetananas. So, Nitya Nityananam. Nityananam means between all eternals. The soul is eternal. Between all the eternals, there is one Nitya, which is the supreme eternal. And Chetananas, which is from all the conscious living entities, there is one which is a source of that, all the rest. So, Nitya Nityananam Chetanam Chetananas. So, this phrase from the Upanishad directly shows that we are eternal and conscious, but we have limited ability. The Supreme is Bhagwan himself. See, every living being is Brahman, but the Supreme living being or the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Supreme Brahman. And Param Dhamma means that he is a supreme rest or abode of everything. And this is true. By definition, God must have everything. There should be nothing lacking in God. Yeah? If there's anything that is lacking, then by definition he cannot be God. So God means that he has got everything in. And because he's got everything, he is also the place where we can find everything. So he's a supreme abode of everything. He's a resting place. You cannot find anything in this world which is not connected to Krishna. There is nothing in creation that you will find which is not linked to the Creator. So that is why Krishna is known as the supreme abode of everything. Pavitram means he is pure. He doesn't have any contamination. And just by contacting him, we become pure. He is the supreme purifying agent. And the definition is given for what is pure. He is untainted by material contamination. Then he is Purusham, means that he is a supreme enjoyer. He is the master, he is the enjoyer. He is the supreme. Shashvatam, he is eternal. He is Divyam, he is transcendental. He does not become contaminated or within the modes of nature. He is transcendental. He is Adidevam. He is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he is unborn, Ajam. And this is too the same thing, because if I had a creator, then I cannot be greater than the creator. Right? So Krishna, by definition, being Bhagwan, he has to be, there has to be no cause for him. He is the cause of all causes. If he had a cause, then he is not the supreme, because then the cause of him would become supreme. So that is why it says Adi Devam, he is original. There was no one before and there is no one equal to. He is original. And he is Ajam, because he is unborn. Everything is born of him, but he is not born by anything. Okay? And he is Vibhum, the greatest. Again, very, very simple definitions, very practical definitions of Bhagavan. Let's go next. Now one may think that because Krishna was a friend of Arjuna, Arjuna was telling him all this by way of flattery. Now we have already covered this in yesterday's session, that there is a gulf of difference between the friendships of this material world and the friendships of the spiritual world. And what is the big difference? Is that the friendships in the material world are based on exploitation, while relationships in the spiritual world are based on selfless service. On one side it is selfish, on the other side it is completely selfless and imbued with love. Yeah? Here it is imbued with lust. In the material world, all the interactions are lustful. What does lustful mean? Lustful means, what am I getting out of it? Yeah, I want to enjoy, I want to get something out of this. But in love, it means I don't care about myself. I only care about my object of love. Whatever they like, I am ready to do. Okay? So it's two different, completely different. And so many people like to take Shastras and make their own commentaries. So they just read this entire statement and then they come up with their own commentary. Arjuna is a friend of Krishna. So as friends do with each other, they keep on praising them. They keep on giving praise and giving them glorification. But it's not only that, right? We don't want to make the mistake that we are trying to materialize a very spiritual relationship. Yeah, this is what many people do. They think that we can materialize, we can put our conceptions of material relationships on a spiritual relationship. It doesn't work that way. Continuing. But Arjuna, just to drive out this kind of doubts from the minds of the readers of Bhagavad Gita, substantiates these phrases in the next verse when he says that Krishna is accepted as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not only by himself, but by authorities like Narada, Ashita, Devala and Vyasadeva. These great personalities who distribute the Vedic knowledge as it is accepted by all acharyas. So he is not just saying this because he wants to praise and glorify. He is also saying the same conclusion that has been reached by great personalities. And so we can understand that what he is saying tallies with the conclusions of great acharyas who have understood the truth. Yeah? So there's no deviation. And so what he is saying is actually true. Okay? Therefore, Arjuna tells Krishna that he accepts whatever he says to be completely perfect. Sarvam etad ritam manye. I accept everything you say to be true. Arjuna also says that the personality of the Lord is very difficult to understand and that he cannot be known even by the great demigods. And this is a very important thing. That Krishna, he is the source of everything. Now, if I tell you a very practical example, there's a couple of parents, and they've just given birth to a newborn child. Now, from the perspective of the parents, they know everything about the child. They've seen the child since from the birth. At every moment of their lives, they are witnessing the entire progression of the child. The question is, can the child know and personally experience the childhood of their parents, of his parents? Can the child personally experience the parents' childhood? Is it possible? No. The creation will never fully understand its creator. Yeah? And in this creation of material universe, there are so many types of people. There's starting from Brahmalok all the way down to Patalok. There's from the highest position of Lord Brahma down to the smallest position of being a worm or a bacteria. All of these are different types of living entities, and all of them were created by Krishna. He says in the Gita, Aham bija pradaput. I am the seed-giving father. He says that for all living entities. So it's not possible for us to even know Krishna fully. And forget us, even the demigods, they cannot understand Krishna fully. And demigods are so much more powerful than us human beings. And if they cannot understand, how can we understand? When Krishna came and did his transcendental pastimes, even Lord Brahma was bewildered. Now the creator of this universe got bewildered by seeing Krishna's Leela. What is our chance? And we are so proud of our intelligence. We are so proud of our ability to say God doesn't exist. Then this is our unfortunate circumstance. Yeah? This means that the Lord cannot even be known by personalities greater than human beings. So how can a human being understand Lord Shri Krishna without becoming his devotee? So Prabhupada writes it very nicely, that if you want to try to begin understand God, then you have to become his devotee. Okay? Therefore, Bhagavad Gita should be taken up in a spirit of devotion. This has been a continuous theme that has been running the last 3 days. That if you really want to understand the Gita, it has to be taken up in the spirit of devotion. And any Gita that you see in which a commentator is not a devotee, you have to understand that that person has not understood the Gita. As we said already, the Gita is not a religious book, it is a scientific book. It will tell you what is the hypothesis. It gives you a worldview of what reality looks like. Then it tells you that this is reality. And then you'll be like, okay, how can I test this reality? He says, okay, you do these practices. If you start doing these practices, you will be able to realize this reality. And you'll be able to realize what is the goal of these practices. That you should become a devotee, just like the original student of the Gita, Arjuna. From the beginning of the Gita to the end of the Gita, if you look at the transformation of Arjuna's journey, that is where we are at. We are like in Arjuna's situation in the beginning of the Gita, and at the end of the Gita, what he says should become what we say after we have read the Gita. Okay? If you want to understand any piece of work, any book or any complex piece of work, you have to see what happened in the beginning and then what happened in the end. Okay? Now, in the beginning of the Gita, in 2:11, what does Krishna say? Krishna says in 2:11, asochan, like do not lament, you should not lament. And then in the last shlok, in 1866, that he says, that the last shlok that Krishna says, which is instructive, he says, Mokshasmi Masucha, means do not fear, I will take care of everything. So if you look at the first word in 2:11 and the last word in 1866, which are Krishna's first instruction and Krishna's last instruction, same word. First is do not lament, and then it says do not fear. Same. So the whole Gita's purpose is to free us from anxiety, to free us from fear. And the process to get free of fear is to take up bhakti. Okay? Okay. One should not think that he is equal to Krishna, nor should he think that Krishna is an ordinary personality or even a very great personality. Lord Shri Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. So according to the statements of Bhagavad Gita or the statements of Arjuna, the person who is trying to understand the Bhagavad Gita we should at least theoretically accept Shri Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead. This is the first instruction that Prabhupada gives. The first step in unlocking the mysteries of the Gita is that at least theoretically accept Krishna to be the greatest. If you cannot even do this much, then this book will remain a great mystery. You can read this book cover to cover 100 times, 1,000 times, million times. But if you miss that first vital step of at least theoretically accepting Krishna to be the supreme, this knowledge will never make sense to you. As simple as that. It will never make sense. It says here, okay, we should at least theoretically accept Shri Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead, and with that submissive spirit, not in a challenging, oh, why is Krishna supreme? No, except, okay, he might be supreme. Let's see what he's saying. Let me at least put a bit of faith. Let me understand what is he trying to tell me. And in a submissive spirit, we can understand the Bhagavad Gita. Unless one reads the Bhagavad Gita in a submissive spirit, it is very difficult to understand Bhagavad Gita because it is a great mystery. Why is it a mystery? Because there is no difference between Krishna, Krishna's name, Krishna's words, Krishna's Leela, Krishna's form. Everything is the same. Krishna is absolute. That means there is no difference. There is no duality in him. Everything is his energy. There is no difference. Now, if I take a picture of you, and I say, this is Nirav, okay? But will this Nirav be able to reciprocate with me? No. Only the person Nirav can reciprocate with me. Is there a difference between the word water and the actual thing water? There's a difference. If I just say water, 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 it's not that my thirst will be quenched. No. If I keep on saying the word water, I'm not going to get quenched. In fact, I'll get dehydrated by keep on saying that. Yeah, so there's a difference between the actual thing and its name. Because this world is relative. There's a relativity here. But in the spiritual world, everything is opposite, it's absolute. So there's no difference between Krishna and his words. So if you're not prepared to approach his words, which is as good as approaching Krishna, in a submissive attitude, he reserves the right not to be shown to you. Yeah? You cannot go demand that I want to go and see President Ruto. You cannot demand. If you start making these demands, he'll be like, who are you? Who are you compared to me? Yeah, he can reserve the right not to come in front of me. He's not my order supplier that if I say that, oh, president has to come here, he comes right there and then. Is that true? Is that possible? It's not possible because he's in a greater post, right? Similarly, there is a difference. You cannot order Krishna around in a challenging mood. But devotees do order Krishna around, but because they have submitted themselves entirely to Krishna, Krishna wants to come under their order. Yeah? How did Krishna become a charity of Arjuna? It is an inconceivable opulence of Krishna, renunciation, that he is the greatest, and yet he is prepared to take up the menial job of becoming a chariot driver for his dear friend and devotee Arjuna. This is how great God is. Okay? Just what is the Bhagavad Gita? The purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to deliver mankind from the nescience of material existence. Okay? So, what does it mean to deliver mankind from the nescience of material existence? Material existence is always in difficulty. What difficulty are we talking about? Is there anyone in this room that has ever not had difficulty in their life? Anyone? No. It is always going to remain a difficulty. Let us understand why. Every man is in difficulty. Shri Rukmini Dwarkadish ki jai, Sitaram Lakshmana Mahana ki jai, Shri Gaunidai ki jai. Every man is in difficulty in so many ways, as Arjuna also was in difficulty in having to fight the battle of Kurukshetra. Arjuna surrendered unto Sri Krishna, and consequently this Bhagavad Gita was spoken. Not only Arjuna, but every one of us is full of anxieties because of this material existence. Okay. Anxiety. He says full of anxiety. We are always anxious because of two things. We are always anxious and fearful about our future, and we are always lamenting our past. These are the two things that are causing us to be anxious always. Yeah? We are sitting here, but then we are thinking, okay, tomorrow I need to go to the office, do this transaction, make this much profit. If I make this much profit, I'll be able to save this money and I'll be able to take care of my family members. Yeah? You're sitting here. Oh, where's your mind? Your mind is running on what is going to happen in the future. And if it's not running in the future, you'll be stuck in the past. Oh, this person told me this. This person told me of this way. How can he say this to me? They're always lamenting. Oh, I had so much money and now look at me, I've become a beggar. Yeah, they're always either lamenting about the past or they are anxious about the future. This is how many of you feel this in your life? How many of you have always been anxious about the future or lamenting about the past? Yes or no? Raise your hands. Have you felt that? Yeah? And this keeps on making us restless. It keeps on making us anxious. Yeah, what will happen to me? Why is this the case? Have you asked yourself, why is it the case that we are always anxious like this? Why are we anxious about the future? Why are we always lamenting the past? Why can't we stay in the present?
Time.
Yeah. Okay, time. Why are we scared of time?
Time is, I think, the most destructive thing that is there. That we expire, we age with time.
So the biggest fear that we have is of death. We know death is going to come one day, but yet we are not prepared to meet it, or we treat it as if it's never going to happen to us. Yes? Why are we scared of death?
Because we've experienced it before.
But you don't remember it. So the reason why we are scared of death is because by nature we are souls, and souls are eternal. So this concept of death is very unnatural to us at our core. We want to always remain eternal and seek everything eternal. Oh, I want to be happy continuously. I don't want there to be a stop in my happiness. Yet it happens to us. We make so many plans that if I do this, I'll be happy. If I take this degree, I'll earn more, I'll get more money, I'll be happy. Oh, I like this lady, she will make me happy. Yeah, we are always looking to get continuous happiness, but is that the experience of everyone in this world? Do we get continuous happiness? No, we don't get continuous happiness. There's always a break, and that is why we are anxious. And the biggest break of them all is death. Death is something that puts a spoiler to the entire planning. Yeah? Let's read ahead. Our very existence is in the atmosphere of non-existence. Huh? We live as spiritual beings embodied in a material body which has got no endurance. It will pass away at one time. So our entire life is surrounded in non-existence. And non-existence in this case means that it is not eternal. We are eternal, but everything around us keeps on changing. Nothing stays eternal. And so that is why we as people hate change. How many of you hate change? How many of you want to always have a very routine and everything has to go in a very systematic way according to my plans to keep me happy? And yet we always find that our plans is frustrated time and time again. Yes? Because this is the nature of the world. The only constant is that change is constant. Yes? The only constant here is that change is constant, and this is our biggest reason for our being anxious. Because we don't know what is going to happen. We don't know whether our happiness will continue. We don't know that. But we do know for a fact that throughout history, when happiness is to come, it will come. When sadness is to come, it will come. It is a proven fact. If you don't believe it yourself, reflect in your life. Reflect in your life that at times when you're striving to become happy, some unfortunate circumstance happens and you become sad. And when you're going through a rough patch, sometimes out of the blue, you get a glimmer of hope. You get some happiness that you are not expecting to come. Yeah? You just reflect. This is very, very common sense. This is not rocket science. This is something for us to actually reflect on our own life and introspect. Yes? Our very existence is in the atmosphere of non-existence. Actually, we are not meant to be threatened by non-existence. Our existence is eternal, but somehow or the other, we are put into asat. Asat refers to that which does not exist. Asat has got two meanings. One, it is false, it means doesn't exist, and two, it is temporary. It means it exists, there is reality, but that reality is temporary. So in the grand scheme of things, it's like it was never there. Just like at night when you go to sleep, you're dreaming. The dream feels real. You're experiencing everything in the dream. You're experiencing emotions in your dream. Okay, you go to dream and then you may, oh, like, oh my God, I'm now a cricket star. I'm batting in the middle of the field and everyone is cheering me on and I hit a sixer. I feel that joy. I feel that happiness. But is it real? It isn't real because you're feeling it, you're perceiving it, but it is temporary. And as soon as you wake up, everything vanishes. So this is life. It's just that this one life is like a very long dream. Like a dream, not a dream, like a dream. It's two different. Like a dream means it is real, but it is temporary. Okay? Now, out of so many human beings who are suffering, there are a few who are actually inquiring about their position as to what they are, why they are put into this awkward position, and so on. Now, this is a very important point. Out of so many human beings who are suffering, there are only a few who are actually inquiring about the position. You know, people turn to philosophy for three main reasons. The first reason is they have an innate curiosity to find out who they are. Like, who am I? I want to understand my identity. Second is, what is my purpose in life? So they are looking for what is my destiny in life. But most people will turn to philosophy because they are trying to answer the question, why am I suffering in life? I don't want to suffer, yet so many different types of suffering is imposed upon me. Why is this the case? I don't plan for it. There's no one in this world who plans that they want to suffer. They don't invite suffering voluntarily. It always comes involuntarily. It always forces itself upon us. But we don't want it. So why does it come to us? Why is it that we can never find true happiness here? Okay? This is a fundamental question that drives people, if they are fortunate enough, to ask this question. And then this question is the stepping stone for a person to inquire into the spiritual, to inquire into things in this world which cannot give a proper answer to this question. And so where do they turn to? They have to turn to some source of knowledge which is beyond the world, and that is religious books, scriptures. Okay? Okay. Unless one is awakened to this position of questioning his suffering, unless he realizes that he doesn't want suffering but rather wants to make a solution to all suffering, then one is not to be considered a perfect human being. This is very important. Humanity begins when this sort of inquiry is awakened in one's mind. Now, human beings are the only species who have developed consciousness to be able to even understand that they are suffering. Yeah? Any other species of life, they just accept that this is part of life. They don't have the intellectual capacity to even begin to think that why am I suffering? It's only in the human form of life that our body is constructed in such a way that we can question all these philosophical questions. No other life form can do this. It's only the human form of life. And therefore, what differentiates human life from animal life is this ability to question the world. Otherwise, what is the same things that humans do and animals do? Four same things: eat, sleep, mate, defend. The human beings are doing this, and even the animals are doing this. There is no difference. There is only difference in quality, but in principle, these four things are the same. You might sleep on a very comfortable mattress, and a dog might sleep on the street. But once you're asleep, the quality of your sleep and the quality of the dog's sleep, it is the same. You might eat fancy cuisines in 5-star, 7-star hotels with different ways of cooking it. The taste that you get from that and the taste that a pig gets from eating stool, that is the same. The quality of taste or the taste buds of that pig and that your taste buds, the enjoyment that you get from eating is the same. Yeah? The quality of enjoyment that you get in mating in whatever capacity is the same that even a monkey can get. In fact, a monkey has got greater capacity for sexual pleasure. So what is difference? What is the difference between a human being and animals? It is said that if a human being wastes his life doing the same things that an animal does, he is to be considered just like an animal, a two-legged animal, sophisticated animal, and nothing more. Okay. So it says here, in the Brahma Sutra, this inquiry is called Brahma Jignasa, Athato Brahma Jignasa. Every activity of the human being is to be considered a failure unless he inquires about the nature of the Absolute. Therefore, those who begin to question why they are suffering or where they have come from and where they shall go after death are proper students for understanding Bhagavad Gita. The sincere student should also have a firm respect for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such a student was Arjuna. Okay? So we'll stop here. So at least we have understood what is the difference between a human life and an animal life, and what is the purpose of human life is to question why we are suffering and to try to make a solution to all our problems in life. Okay? Anyone has got any questions, any comments? If I've said anything that is not in line, please forgive me. Okay?
So, behalf of audience, I'm asking.
Yeah.
Like here is mentioned, Krishna, God is unborn.
Unborn.
So we accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of God. So we celebrate the birthday of Krishna. He taken birth in the Devaki and Vasudeva. So that confuse the general public. That's why they accept Shiva is unborn, because this is a linga. Nothing, there is no form like nothing. So how will you explain?
Okay. Now, if I give you an example, say we are all in one room. Say this, we are all in one room, and there's only one door. There's only one door. Now, a person enters that room. You don't know where he's entering. You can only see that he's entering from the door. Will you say that the door is the cause of his birth? Or will you say that there was actually existing beyond this thing and he just entered into here, into the room through the door? What is logical sense saying?
He was existing and he's coming.
He was existing before and he just appeared through the door. It's not that the door created him. It's not that the door gave birth to him. Okay? Similarly, Krishna has always existed. But when he appears in the material world, it's just like him appearing through a door. He's just appearing through a door, but he was always existing prior to that. Okay? And the reason as well why Krishna does this, and it's written in 4.9, is that a person who understands my birth, my activities, my form and everything, understand it by tattva, in truth, that person understands me and will never come back to this earth. So there are many people who know Krishna, but how many know Krishna in truth? How many understand the many hidden tattvas behind his activities? Just knowing that Krishna was a great personality who was present here 5,000 years ago, Yashoda was his mother, Nanda Baba was his father, He was a king of Dwarka. He defeated all these kings. He participated in the Mahabharata. That's all historical. That is not essential. It is not covering or uncovering the tattva of Krishna. His leelas have got many layers, and he does certain layers because some people in this world are very much attuned to not accepting any authority. So to fulfill their desire to always stay away from him, he creates certain scenarios where it creates a bit of confusion in their minds. And this is a way of Krishna giving the mercy. Because this, if he comes and he makes it very obvious that he is God, then people who don't want to even accept him will have to accept him. Where is the question of free will? Where is the question of free will? So Krishna, to even fulfill the desire of people who don't want to come to him, does certain things so that they can be happy. They can stay happy, not believing him. To become an atheist, you also need God's help. To become an atheist, you also need God's help. Otherwise, probably if you have any.
Prabhupada give a very simple example of the sun.
Sun.
The sun is rising from the east. Not means the sun is taking birth from the east. A very simple example, Prabhupada.
Yes.
So, if Lord is appearing as a son of Devaki and Vasudeva, means not he is the son of the Devaki and so it's a very simple example.
Yeah, very simple.
Okay. Another thing, we say God is one.
God is one. Yeah.
And this is the behalf of audience because of this topic.
So should
God
we
is
not
one. But in Hinduism, we can say Sanatani has many gods. So how are we going to justify this?
So
We also accept there is many gods.
yeah.
Rama is God, Narayan is God, Vishnu is God. Maybe don't accept the God like Shiva and other Brahma, but we accept the Rama is God, Vishnu is God, Narayan is God. So become many gods.
So in one sense, we have to.
Already you have explained
hint,
it,
yes.
but you have to clarify this to the audience.
See, there's many answers to this, and one answer that I've understood it in this way is that Krishna is very accommodating. Okay, he is very accommodating, and he understands that not everyone has the same interest. Yeah. We have different layers of consciousness. Some people are going to be attracted to him very easily. Yeah? So this is the direct method. But some people are not willing to devote themselves to him. So then what does he do? God is very kind. So what facility does he give to the rest of the people? He gives a facility that he expands into different forms, and different forms attract people in different ways. There's a very technical understanding which you understand it. Another way you can understand it is that think of a organization. An organization has got many levels. There's a CEO, then there is directors, then below directors, there is managers, below managers, there is different assistant managers, and then as employees. So for at employee level, you would think that, oh, the one above me is the highest. So we think that all these people who are, or say there's a security guard. When the security guard, when different gradations of people are coming through, they will give different, he'll say sir to everyone. Even to the CEO, he'll say sir. Even to the director, he says sir. Even to the manager, he says sir. Even to the assistant manager, he says sir. And even to a normal employee, will say sir. But there is difference in hierarchy as well. It's not that if you say that Krishna, if Krishna comes, he's also considered Bhagwan. Even if somebody else comes, for him he's considered Bhagwan. Bhagavan means what? Means he's a controller. So even we are small controllers. We control a small, very small aspect of our life or certain aspects. But Krishna is a supreme controller, and he's a source of everyone. And it is said here that even the demigods, they don't even know Krishna, because Krishna is the one who created them. So here in the Gita it says that all the demigods, they are all created by Bhagavan. Now when it comes to different Bhagavans, there is different divisions. There are four different tattvas. There is Vishnu tattva, there is Shiva tattva, there is Shakti tattva, and then there is Jiva tattva. All of us belong to Jiva tattva, and Krishna, he is the original in the Vishnu tattva. Just like if you have one candle. Now with one candle, we are lighting so many different candles, and then you put the original candle back into all the different candles. Can you tell which is the original? No. But you know that there is one which is original among all the candles. So Krishna is like that original candle, and all the other candles are his personal expansions, which are Vishnu Tattva, like Ram, like Narasimhadev, like Varadev, Vamandev. All these are different expansions of Vishnu Tattva. Yes, Shiva Tattva is different. Now Shiva Tattva is Vishnu, but in connection with material nature. He is that expansion of Vishnu that connects with material nature. Okay, if I tell you, if there is light, can there be darkness?
No.
If there is light, can there be darkness? As soon as I create a light, create a matchbox light, automatically the darkness around it vanishes, right? So wherever Krishna goes, darkness cannot be there. Yeah. So that one thing that allows darkness to be close to the light is Shiva Tattva. Otherwise, Prabhuji, if you want to explain in easier way.
Okay. But very simply, we are saying in the Upanishad saying, even we have the only
Nitya
one God
Nityanam.
concept. Like Nityo Nityanam Chetanasya Chetananam, Eko Bahunam. Only one. There is many Nitya. We are all Nitya. Is a spiritual. Nitya, but Nityanam. Nitya one and Nityanam is many. So is only one person is fulfilling the desires and the requirement of the all. So there is a concept is a Eko Bahunam. One is God, God is one, and Bahunam, there is many who fulfill the desires of all. That is called the different tattva and form. So in our scripture also saying that God is one. God is one. So there is no many gods. So they have the different qualities of the God, like you explaining. That's why sometimes we say that this God, that God. God is one. So Bhagavad Gita only teaching this concept to clearly find God is one. There is no many gods. So all they are gods. They have some properties, some qualities of the God, but not they are not God. That's why Prabhupada is saying Krishna is the supreme personality of God.
Head.
So can be said this form, same God has many forms, like explaining, even qualities they have. So because of that quality, that opulence or divinity sometimes can be God. Like some sadhus, they are powerful sadhu can be said, oh Bhagwan, you are Bhagwan. But that Bhagwan is very tiny Bhagwan in comparison of the Krishna. So that has to be explained to the people of the world. That's why Prabhupada has this concept wanted to establish all over the world. You must understand who is God and God is one. So most of the people, other religions, they know God is one, but they don't know who is God. So Prabhupada explained, he went to explain everyone, Krishna is the God. He is only God, there is no other God. There is no other God. So that concept is given in Bhagavad Gita and other scripture. Only explaining this concept. To understand there is God is one, not many, and that is Krishna only. There is no compromise, there is no adjustment.
Yeah, actually, there is I can't remember which Upanishad it was, but there was a group of sages, and they asked this one particular sage, "Can you define and can you explain God?" So he started with 333 crore, and then he brought it down, all the way from up to 6, 3, 2, and then finally 1. He created this entire thing, and then he summed it all up by saying that these are all connected. And so the source is one, but then it gets distributed in many ways only because he is very accommodating. If you read the 12th chapter, of Gita, from 12.8 to 12.12, Krishna lists so many different avenues to understand and to get to know him. If you can't do this, do this. 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 And then he's also said in chapter 3 and 4 about the entire system of demigod worship. Then again in chapter 9 he comes and he says that people who do demigod worship are wrong. So first he said, do it up, but that was because our consciousness because this is a journey. Gita is a journey of Krishna raising Arjuna's consciousness. So as he raises Arjuna's consciousness throughout the Gita, from chapter 1 up to chapter 12, because chapter 13 to 18 is different. But when he is raising the consciousness, he is raising it slowly, get to the level of Bhakti Yoga. And then you will be able to see that I am the highest, I am the supreme. And you connect directly to me via the process of Bhakti Yoga. The Gita also talks about many different paths. But in each and every chapter, Krishna will tell Arjuna, okay, I've told you this path as well, but conclusion. As per my opinion, Bhakti Yoga is good for you. Bhakti Yoga is good for you. In each and every chapter, he summarizes and he tells Arjuna, I've told you this, but do this. Yeah. Okay? Any question? Yeah? Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.